So, I am joining a friend this evening for corporate prayer, and the topic of prayer is a heart of worship. And so, as I was preparing for prayer this evening, I was studying the scripture that we're standing on, which is John chapter 4, verse 23 through 24. I'm reading from the Amplified Version, and so let's get into it. John chapter 4, verse 23 and 24. But a time is coming and is already here when the true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit, from the heart, the inner self, and in truth. For the Father seeks such people to be his worshipers. God is spirit, the source of life, yet invisible to mankind, and those who worship him must worship in spirit and truth. So, this is my perspective. This is my understanding, and I'm welcome what you got out of the scripture as well. Okay? And so I believe that the scripture is saying that the time has always been and is right now that we as Christians and believers of Christ are to be consistent in our self-expression of God's mind, will, character, glory, and being. That we will reverence transparently and genuinely, reverence God with praise, adoration, service, and obedience. And if you see me looking to and from, it's because I actually was writing notes when I was studying, and I want to stick to the topic and not be long-winded. I am working on that. So, therefore, we as believers are not to just seek God by prayer, but we are to be deliberate and consistent in our seeking, right? And the thing about it is that we're not the only ones seeking. God is also seeking. That's my understanding of the scripture, that God is also seeking. He's seeking for true worshipers. So, of course, I had to go and study the definitions of all these words, because true is to be consistent. The biblical meaning of truth is to be consistent with the mind, will, character, glory, and being of God. So, therefore, God is looking for worshipers that are consistent, not just in coming to church or going to church, putting on a song and saying the words out of their mouth and crying out, but he's looking for a worship lifestyle. All right. And so to seek means to be deliberate and consistent in your pursuit, not only by prayer, but by studying his word so that you can get an understanding, right? In 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 15 through 16, it say to study to show thyself approved, and also to be a workman that's not ashamed. Don't be ashamed of your trials and your tribulations, but find a safe community, a trusted community where you can share in what you're going through, receive encouragement, receive love, and out of that get healing and understanding of what it is that you have gone through or are currently experiencing, and then make a decision, because we have to make a decision to be healed. God always provides his healing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But we have to make a decision to receive the healing that he has for us, okay? And it's a journey, but it's there and it's available to us. So we are not ashamed. We find community where we can do that in. And then we also make a decision to change. And what is change? Change means that you're going to do something different. You're not going to keep saying the same thing. You're not going to keep doing the same thing and expecting a new response, right? We're going to change our heart, and we're going to change our actions. Underline actions. Highlight actions, because that's it right there, right? The change means to steer away from. I like to use the word rebellion instead of sin, but it's the same thing. Steer away from sin and go towards God's way of doing something. Sin is rebellion. Rebellion is to oppose instruction that works out for your good. that's better for you, that is right versus wrong, right? So when we sin, we are rebellion. We are rebelling against God. You don't have to be a murderer or a thief. Sinning is coveting what other people have. Sin is being prideful. Sin is doing wrong versus right, right? Saying the wrong thing and doing the right thing, doing the wrong thing. That is just, it ain't cool. It's not good and it doesn't work out for your best interest. All right. So then steer away from rebellion and go towards God's way of doing things. And in order to know what God's way is, you have to spend time with him. We have to spend time with him, not just in prayer, but studying his word so we can actually understand what he is saying, and then asking for the wisdom to apply it to our everyday lives. So in verse 24, it says, God is spirit, the source of life, yet invisible to mankind, and those who worship him must worship him in spirit and truth. The truth will set you free, right? And remember, I said to be true is to be consistent with God's mind, his will, his character, and his glory, as well as his being. So your self-expression of God must align with those things. So worship is a lifestyle. So as I abide in God and God abides in me, my life is changing. I am transforming, right? Transforming means to change. Transforming means that you are totally different than what you were before. And I am transforming daily. This is a journey, but it is a willingful journey. I've made the decision, right? Because God leaves us with freedom. Even his salvation, he will not force upon you. You have to decide to receive him, right? He's that good of a God where he leaves you with freedom. But also because we have such freedom, we don't always make the best decisions. And so that's why the word, like, anyone could read the word, but I also believe that the word is speaking to the believers. The word is speaking to true worshipers, not just us who are saved, because being saved and living for Christ is two different things. We can be saved all day long, but saying Jesus is Lord over my life, what he says go, he has the final say in all aspects of my life, that's different than just being saved. So anyway, I just wanted to share, and I believe that with God being a spirit, which means that he is our source of life, he is the source of life, period. He created us like him, so that's in our divine nature. But because when we were brought into the world was already tainted when we came into the world. And so because of our upbringing or our environment, whatever our situation is, and everybody's situation is different, then it disrupts our connection with God, and it disrupts that natural state of operating in his will. Remember, God's way is not our way. That's also in the word. I don't know what book or word, chapter, what scripture to refer you to. I just know it's in there. God's way is not our way. His thoughts is not our thoughts. But he is the source of life. It's just that with him being invisible to mankind and from our past, we lose connection and we have to find our way back. That's why the words in the Bible say restore, and a lot of words with re in there, because re means that you were already like that. God had already created us like that. But just wanted to share what I got out of that scripture. Feel free to leave your comments and share what you learned out of that scripture. I want to invite you to corporate prayer tonight. My friend is hosting corporate prayer. Her name is Christy Pride. You can follow her on all platforms at Christy Pride, and that's ChristiPride. Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. I promise you'll be blessed We're doing Give God 30, which is we're surrendering 30 days of the month, all months that have 30 days in it of this 2025. We're surrendering onto Him with prayer corporately for 30 minutes. And then in your own time, take the other 2 hours and 10 minutes because we're giving God 10% of our day, which is 2 hours and 40 minutes out of 24 hours, and spend time. Split that up: 30 minutes of worship, 30 minutes of studying the word, 30 minutes of personal prayer, 30 minutes of exercise, 30 minutes or 40 minutes of something else, but your 2 hours and 40 minutes. But tonight we're having prayer at 6 p.m. Central Time on at Christy Pride on all platforms. I also would like to invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm not sure what platform you're watching this from, but I have a YouTube channel, Beauty and Bible, Beauty and Bible LC. Please follow and subscribe. I invite you to join me for corporate prayer and Bible study, as well as discussions on life. Okay, let's talk about it. Let's talk about pursuing our purpose. Let's talk about what we're passionate about. And how to operate in it successfully. Let's talk about finances and parenting, heartbreak, and not just heartbreak, but heart success, or whatever you want to call that. I don't know what the word would be for that. But heartbreak, finances, life. Okay, this life that we all know that be lifing. Let's talk about it and get biblical principles to stand on as we navigate this journey of life. And so, please join my YouTube channel and subscribe. And I hope that you enjoyed this sharing. And I will see you hopefully tonight in prayer. Okay?